In the news this week, the voice must return. Perth Aboriginal leaders call for third parliamentary chamber with veto power. A WAMI News exclusive.
Royal Show kick-off in Perth with a bang despite AFL Grand Final stealing audiences. New disability dental clinics to assist West Australians in a sensory-friendly space. And later, Dr Andrew Miller's comment.
This is the evening news with Ivan Leung and Paige Reid.
Good evening. First Nations leaders in Perth are calling for a third state parliamentary chamber with the power to veto laws and policies affecting Aboriginal people. In an exclusive interview, Edward Ted Wilkes and Megan Cracker says WA must go beyond Victoria's new voice to Parliament, arguing only real political authority can deliver justice and self-determination after generations of dispossession. Here's part of our conversation.
Well, we certainly want to look at options. There are other options that we can look at. The Voice of Parliament is one. The treaty that has been processed in Victoria, I would be keen for Western Australia to be the next state to look at the potential to develop a treaty.
Why should people have that? And why should we have it, given that the overwhelming state here in Western Australia has already rejected the voice in the referendum alone? Why do it again?
Well, the fact is that these are all unknown quantities, righto, and a voice to Parliament in the past was split because a voice to Parliament means to a lot of Aboriginal people that we lose our voice. The voice to Parliament then is vetoed by politicians' minions, which are the public service. What sort of aim you're hoping to achieve is what? Do you want a third chamber in WA? Do you want a treaty? What are you looking at? Well, a treaty is obviously going to be a chamber in Parliament of some sort, but we don't want it to be frustrated by bureaucracy. And we want a voice to Parliament that allows people like me and Megan and other Aboriginal leaders to go to governments and go to Parliament and say, this is what we want. And we don't want those people in the middle that are the gatekeepers, who are the white fellows of the bureaucracies. We need to develop an Aboriginal structure that goes straight through to parliamentarians or the bosses of Western Australia, including the Premier, who I know. I went to university when that man was going to university at the same time, and I would ask them to start playing the game fairly now. So you want third chamber in the state parliament? We could. Let's look at what that means properly. Do you want it? I would want a third chamber in Parliament that allows Aboriginal Australians to control the pathway out of our poverty. Okay, but what about other broader policies, such as, let's say, cost of living, transport, infrastructure development, all those things? Do you think that third chamber that you want has the power to veto all of that? Yes, of course it should. It should have the power to veto all unnecessary impressions on our people. We are still living in poverty after 200 years of having other human beings come to our country, and it's only right that these current governments, after this 200 years, should start looking at proper pathways for us to complete our humanity. Megan, have you been in communications with anyone that you want a third chamber in WA State Parliament?
There has been some communication in relation to it, but two things. Firstly, there is a Voice of Parliament that's operating out of South Australia that's been working quite positively, and that raises a lot of the challenges, and there's a good spread of representation right across South Australia in relation to the Voice of Parliament. Obviously those ones are elected by the people, and that's about self-empowerment, self-determination and self-management in some respect. In terms of Victoria, they have had the York Truth and Justice Commission. Right now in Western Australia there's a lot of division, a lot of animosity, a lot of challenges and so forth, and I believe that if we had something where there was a Truth and Justice Commission in Western Australia, that would actually provide a lot of information to everyone across the state of Western Australia to ensure that we're at least united in some sense. At the moment we're divided.
There are two factors here. One is the economic gains that we Aboriginal people, First Nations, West Australians people deserve.
But the question is, will it be?
Yeah, that's the first one, and the second one is our quality of life and our culture, right? So we are culturally different to every other West Australian. We have footsteps in this land that go back to millennia, right, through millennia, and today we have lost our ability to eat the meat that we need to eat, and that is the bush tucker from our lands, the kangaroos, the emus, and all of those other things that we would like to eat, because we've got on a diet that has now made a lot of us obese, and we're not eating the right sort of tucker. So, yep, economically we want to be viable in our own way, not through some sort of disturbance of white inferences about how you become economically viable. No, we want to do it in a Noongar, Aboriginal First Nations way.
What do you have to say to those people that says the voice decision has already been made last year, it's already come to a conclusion? Why are you bringing this up again?
The voice has never been come to. Voices change.
But when it comes to a referendum, some people might say
it doesn't matter. The referendum that was held previously, okay, was fast-tracked to try and fool us into voting for a voice. But at the end of the day, most Aboriginal people and non-Aboriginal people knew that this wasn't going to win.
The Perth Royal Show is back for 2025, welcoming visitors to its trademark mix of rides, animals, food and farm displays. Whilst opening day crowds were smaller due to the AFL Grand Final, organisers say the week-long event will again highlight regional WA and provide hands-on experiences for families. Steve Anderson spent the weekend there.
With the AFL Grand Final on this weekend, the first day of the 2025 Perth Royal Show began with fewer adults, families, young people and children waiting at the gate. This year, the show continues its tradition of offering a wide variety of entertainment, animal shows, rides, show bags, performances and regional and farming education, according to the Royal Agricultural Society WA CEO Robin Sermon.
The gates are open. We have thousands of volunteers and staff that put this show on for the Western Australian community, and it's going to be a great show this year.
For hobbyists and volunteers, preserving tractors and farming equipment remains an important way of teaching people in the city about agriculture.
The agriculture is a very important part of our world as far as food and everything else. So we're just pointing out some of the history of agriculture. Beyond machinery, horses and equestrian sports also fascinate West Aussies of all ages. But for me personally, there's no going to the Royal Show without getting one of these.
Now, when it comes to the Perth Royal Show, show bags are a must. I don't know what your favourite is, but mine is Bertie Beetle.
Rides are definitely something for the youth to enjoy, while adults can take time to discover unique local food, produce and products.
Meanwhile, at the animal nursery, there's plenty of animals here for the whole family to enjoy. They've got ducklings, sheep, turkeys, plenty to keep the family busy.
WA farmer Nigel Spencer attends the Royal Show every year to showcase his livestock, giving Perth people opportunities to experience and interact with a wide range of farm animals up close.
In the early days, everyone knew someone with a farm, an uncle, a grandmother or grandfather, whatever, but nowadays that's not the case. So here they can come, feel, touch, handle, look at everything like that, feed the baby lambs, do whatever, and it's just awesome. It's very popular, and the crowds are big today.
It also inspires the next generation of volunteers and animal lovers.
I love showing people that that animals are cool and that they're harmless, and that I love sharing the love of animals and showing people all these amazing creatures from Nigel.
The Perth Royal Show at Claremont Showgrounds runs until next Saturday, the 4th of October. Steve Anderson, WAMN News.
The state government has announced an additional $500 million for health infrastructure projects, bringing total investment to $3.7 billion over the next 4 years. Acting Premier Rita Saviotti, Health Minister Meredith Hammett and Health Infrastructure Minister John Kerry confirmed the funding at Sir Charles Gairdner Hospital this week, which will support priority projects including a new radiation oncology unit at Geraldton Health Campus. The government said the boost following WA's strong finances, allowing expansion of services and hospital capacity across the metropolitan and regional areas.
We're in a position now to allocate $500 million to a fund. That fund will support the rollout of our existing commitments and also make sure we can move quickly to support new projects.
Construction has begun on a $45.5 million primary school in Alkimos to ease enrolment pressures in the fast-growing suburb. The Alkimos North East Primary School is due to open in 2027 and will cater for 540 students from kindergarten to year 6. Facilities include 2 double-storey teaching blocks, admin areas, a library, assembly spaces, sports courts and an oval. The school will relieve demand at Shorehaven and Alkimos Beach primary schools. Education Minister Sabrine Wilton said it will give families more options. The project follows another new northern suburb school, including Eglinton Beach Primary, which opened in 2025. Western Australia has opened a $6.1 million special needs dental clinic in Salter Point, providing tailored dental care for people with developmental, intellectual or physical disabilities. The purpose-built facility features calming design elements, sensory-friendly spaces, outdoor waiting areas and in-vehicle assessments to reduce barriers in traditional dental settings. Health officials say the clinic reflects input from patients, carers and clinicians, ensuring inclusive, high-quality oral health care for those with complex needs.
Detectives from the Rapid Apprehension Squad are seeking public help to locate 2 stolen vehicles following violent burglaries in Butler and Ocean Reef early on Wednesday. At around 4:30 a.m, 2 men armed with machetes broke into a home on Soham Way, Butler, and stole keys to a white Toyota Corolla. 10 minutes later, masked men rammed the garage door on Milram Street, threatened a woman inside and fled. At 5:50 a.m, 3 masked men attempted to break into a home on Julant Rise, Ocean Reef, but ran off. Soon after, 4 armed men with a machete broke into a residence on Terralina Gardens, stole keys to a BMW coupe and struck a woman, causing minor injuries. The suspects wore dark clothing and balaclavas. Police urge anyone who sees the stolen vehicles not to approach, but call 131 444.
In this year's Royal Show, the Cat Pavilion held its annual Pedigree Cat Show, judging Perth's best felines. With multiple years' experience and Royal Show wins under her belt, Julie Broad from Jacoby Maine Coons was one of many cat breeders at the show this year. I spoke with her at the show this weekend.
So we're here showing our cats today, and this is Billy the Maine Coon.
Lovely. Could you tell us what a Maine Coon is?
Well, a Maine Coon is the largest cat breed that we have, and they are originally a barn cat from Maine in America. So they have to have the long, big, bushy tail so that keeps them warm in the winter, and they curl up around their tail. They've got the furnishings in their ear, which helps keep the snow out, and also the tips, the lynx tips, which again, A, helps them to hear the rats and things, but B, helps frostbite off the...
Lovely. And what is so important about the cat show and the Cat Pavilion here at the Royal Show? Why should families come and see these amazing creatures?
It probably gives them a reason or an ability to see some cats that they've never seen before, how to look after them, and all those sorts of things, but just showing off what all the various types of breeds that there are. And yeah, it's good, and some of them you can pat, some of them not so, but yeah, the majority you're able to handle.
Lovely. Just my last question, how long have you been a Maine Coon breeder?
Well, I've been breeding about 7 years now. So we had Arthur, our original one, and he was 11, and then he started us off with the crazy breeding cycle that we're in.
And now here's Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly medical and news commentary.
Hi, thanks for your time. Just got back from South Africa and was involved in some meetings to do with people who work in anaesthesia and the healthcare system over there. And certainly they have some very, very smart and experienced doctors, and they face resource challenges, just like we do, but probably on a bigger scale in certain ways. We really need to be protective of our universal healthcare system because it contributes not only to the health of the most vulnerable in our population, but to that of everyone. If we have a society which looks after its weakest, then the whole society is a much more enjoyable place to live. South Africa does face challenges, but they're making strides forward, and I think they could be proud of the progress that they're making. And here in Australia, we're facing a time where standards have slipped over the last 30 years because of underinvestment by governments. We've got to hold our politicians to account, let them know that we expect that whoever turns up to an emergency department or onto a public hospital waiting list should be treated according to the need that they have rather than the bank balance that they have. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Doctor. So, Ivan, did you enjoy the Cat Pavilion this weekend at the show?
Gotta love it. I love the Bengal cats, but I remember you advised me against getting one because they got, too much energy?
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, I got to go for the Maine Coon. Love them.
Must be very happy to see a breeder as well.
Oh, it was so good to see her. And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
Subscribe to WAMN News Extra News Club, supporting independent local news, keeping democracy strong. wamnews.com.au/news/extra. Now, Melly will be back next weekend. From Paige, myself and Steve, wish you good health, good night. See you next Sunday.
Thank you so much for joining us.